Hello, welcome to Research 101 series where I talk about the basics for research. In this presentation, I focus on the key elements that are typically found in a literature review section of a proposal. It is important to situate your research in a body of relevant literature. So the literature review section provides you an opportunity to provide information on current knowledge in your field. You can talk about the theories, the methodology, and methods in the field. In addition to all that, you can also identify gaps of knowledge in relevant scholarly literature in your field. So when you're writing literature review section, it's not just a summary of articles, but it's a critical analysis of work that was done by others, which is similar to what you want to explore. I'll provide details of how to search for literature in a separate video. When reviewing literature, there are four main considerations that you need to focus on. So when you are looking for relevant literature, you try to search for relevant academic manuscripts from reputable sources. It's important that you use sources which are credible. And you can do that by looking for your literature through searching the relevant databases in your field where you can find academic sources. For example, you can use Google Scholar or Science Direct or any other well-known database in your field. When you are searching for the literature, you use the keywords so that you can identify relevant manuscripts. Once you identify relevant manuscripts, it will be now time to select and evaluate your sources to see if they are relevant. To do that, you can just read through the abstract. As you read through the abstract, you can tell that the manuscript is relevant to your study. When the article is relevant to your study, you also look at the list of the references, because within the list of references, you can also identify more manuscripts that can inform your study. After settling on manuscripts, it's now time to read through the manuscript in detail. As you read through the manuscript in detail, try to look at the major findings or the focus of the manuscript to say what is the main focus of the manuscript and what is the main message within each manuscript. So as you read through these manuscripts, try to identify themes or any patterns that are noticeable or even any contradictions between sources. That's very important. Also important is to identify the gaps in knowledge. This is where your work can contribute towards filling the gap or contribute towards discussion relevant to filling in the gaps in literature. Because you don't want to reinvent the wheel, you don't want to just replicate work that was done by others without a rationale of doing so. So identification of gaps in literature is really, really, really important. Then once you read the manuscripts, it's now time to write your literature review. In writing your literature review section, it's important to consider the structure of the manuscript, the structure of the literature review section. For example, different fields have different recommendations on how to organize your literature. You organize it in a way that suits your own work or ways that are typically accepted in your field. So basically, there are 4 ways of organizing your literature review. I talk about this in detail in other videos. You can have a chronological order of your literature review section. This is where you order your review based on the year in which the manuscripts were published. Some people prefer to order from older to recent manuscripts. Another way of organizing your literature review section is methodological. The methodological organization is where you organize your literature based on the approaches that were used in the manuscripts that are being reviewed. So you can cluster your literature based on the methodological approaches that were used by different authors. Another way which is really common in most proposal is the thematic structure, where as you read through your manuscripts, you identify common themes. Then when you write your literature review, you put subheadings based on the key themes that emerged from the literature. Another way of organizing this section is theoretical. This is where, as you read through literature, there are certain models or frameworks or theories within your field, so you can cluster your review based on the models or theories or frameworks within the field. Thus, theoretical structure of a literature review, and I provide these details in other videos. I want to wish you the best with your research, and I hope you found this short presentation useful and relevant to your work.